I want to start by getting your take, your sense, your thoughts on what needs to happen in our thinking, a shift, if you will, to make us better advocates for ourselves.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have, an outdated view of what negotiation is because that's what we've been taught. Even I attended some very fine institutions where I was taught that negotiation is basically when you haggle with another person to get to a deal that you put on paper. And what that meant for me was I thought, well, I don't do this very much, right? I thought negotiation was something you did only when the circumstances kind of forced it upon you a few times a year when you were getting ready to sign a deal. And the other thing that did to me is when you're thinking of it as a battle or as haggling, it feels less appealing. And so sometimes we just count ourselves out entirely. And I think, Seth, that's why recent research shows most of us, more than 50% of us, did not negotiate our last salary, right? And when we do negotiate, we're not getting everything we possibly could. And so the first thing I want people to know is what I learned. If you want the full story about how my marriage almost went down in flames, but did not, you can watch my TEDx talk. But I learned on my honeymoon what negotiation actually is. And it's not haggling, and it's not just over money. It's simply how we steer our relationships.
Hmm.
So if you're the type of person who people trust, if you're good with people, if you're good at creating connections, congratulations, you are and can be a really great negotiator. And also, when you think about negotiation just as steering the relationships in your life, you realize we're negotiating all the time. This
Yeah.
is what I do with my daughter every day when she comes home from school. It's the process, not just of haggling, but how do I think about partnering with my clients or the clients I haven't even yet met to solve their problems in the course of solving mine. And when we think about it from that more expansive viewpoint, we're more relaxed, we do it more, we can get more out of it.
Yeah, it is a more expansive view because the antiquated one or the outdated one, if you will, we'll call it last century at the very least, is it's zero sum, right? It's binary. It's there's a winner or a loser. It's antagonistic. There's tension. It's a struggle, and many people take themselves out of the game from the get go. You know?
Yeah, and it's actually pretty rare that you have a straight up win lose situation in life. My daughter's a swimmer, and you'd think you've got 8 girls in a pool, everybody's trying to get to the end of the pool, that there's only one winner. Well, guess what? My daughter has swum in races where, technically speaking, she came in last. But
Hmm.
in the process of that, she achieved a personal best time that catapulted her toward her goals. Life is like that. Most of the time, it's not even an 8-lane pool, it's a wide open ocean. And it's just a matter of, Seth, how do I help get you to where you're going at the same
Yeah.
time that I get myself to where I'm going? And we might be going to totally different places.
Yeah. Alex, the last time I saw you speak in person and you took such great care of my client, I remember you wove that personal story in. And if I recall correctly, my memory has failed me. She came in last, but the reason why it was a personal best because she was in a category up or an age group up.
Yes.
And just being in that environment caused her to push, even though technically she came in last, it was a personal best.
That's exactly right. She was a 12-year-old swimming with 15, 16, 17, and 18-year-olds. And it taught me a lot about negotiation.
Yeah.
Sometimes we think, I don't have enough experience, right? Or I'm not as good as these other people.
Yeah.
Never count yourself out because sometimes being in the room is what's going to help further you toward your goal, even as the other people are reaching for their goals.